Hotep, Shalom, Assalamu alaikum, Konnichiwa, Muy bien. And to those I left out, please don't crucify me. Well, today what we're going to be discussing is the crucifixion. It is the crucifixion of the Great Mother. Um, with modern day religion and monotheism, um, the female worship has pretty much been disintegrated in a variety of forms. Um, Now, there are some places that are considered no man's land where men are not really allowed, they're more so isolated. Um, One of the reasons for the disintegration and the destruction of female worship and the crucifixion of the Great Mother is as a result of the male worship. Um, there was one point in time where both um, the male and female presence were seen as um, they were both seen as something that was sacred. Um, but in latter history, we have the various monotheistic belief systems. And as a result of these belief systems and the male worship, the female worship has really been um, overlooked. Now, one thing I want to say is that as a result of this video, as a result of this topic in particular, because you have a lot of people who dance around this topic, but as a result of this topic in particular, I am definitely going to be hated. I'm going to be despised. There are a lot of people who are against me making the video in regards to religion and the worship of the female presence. Um, One of the reasons why I am disliked because of this essence of female worship is because of the representation and the presence of male dominance. Um, in certain aspects and in certain cultures, um, the man is seen to be the head and the essence of all life form. This is the perpetuation of some of the most ridiculous and preposterous ideologies. Um, when we're talking about energy, energy doesn't have a gender. And that's really the sad part about it. So that's why you have to do your own research. You have to do your own studies because you have people who are out here trying to control the masses. They want to dictate how people act, respond, behave. And, as I stated, when it comes down to energy, um, you know, it doesn't really have a specific gender. Okay, because energy existed before the essence of um, male and female physical form. Okay, so I have a lot of people who are, um, have disdain and are angry and upset because I talk about the black woman being God just as well as the black man being God. Nobody's saying that the black man isn't God. What I'm saying is that the black woman is God as well. Um, and that is one of the reasons why, and the reason why you have many groups and organizations that do not particularly like this teaching is because they are more so into total domination. They want the woman to be submissive. They look at the woman as a slave and a dog. Um, there are other cultures who embraced both the male and the female presence, and then there are part of our culture that only embraces the female worship. So, we are very diverse in our makeup. Um, and like I said, there are going to be people who dislike um, the fact that I am making this video because you have people who want you to submit to whatever teachings that they are promoting and pushing, and you have to get out and do your own research and study. And one of the reasons why I do not, now, when it comes down to the essence of submission, let me explain this to you. Let me say this. A woman is going to submit outside of force. A woman will willingly submit to a man that she totally respects. So, and that's no different from a man. A man is going to submit to a woman that he totally respects. So, stop expecting someone or women to submit to people that don't have any respect for them and that they don't respect. Okay? That's part of the problem. When you're trying to force people to embrace your ideologies and your way of life, people have a right to think how they want to think. People have a right to the freedom of speech to say whatever it is they like, despite whether it may hurt your feelings or whether it may hurt my feelings. When we look at the situation with Chris Rock and Will Smith, Chris Rock made a statement, and people were laughing in the room, but there was somebody in the room that wasn't laughing. So people are going to say things that are going to be hurtful, that people are not going to like, but it doesn't give you the right to attempt to force your way of life onto a person. And let me explain something to you. One of the reasons that I refuse the essence of submission to some of these indoctrinations, because that's what they are. They are indoctrinations. Many of them aren't based upon um, real science and real history. It's add on and ad lib. It's what they want to throw in and they want to include. Um, but one of the reasons that I refuse submission to some of these indoctrinations um, is, like I said, when you're honest and you're straight up and you're straightforward, I can respect someone that's being honest and straightforward. When you lay it down, tell me this is what it is, and either you're gonna take it or you're gonna leave it, then I have a choice of taking it or leave it. But when you trick a person, you deceive a person, um, you don't have any respect. You know what I'm saying? You don't have any respect. So when I look at and this doesn't go for all of these organizations, but some of them are a form of indoctrination. And this is something that has not just started recently. This has been something that's been going on for quite some time. These secret societies um, who are recruiting, and if you refuse to submit to whatever it is that they're laying down, then that's when the problem is created. So when there is a sense of rebellion, um, there's a that that creates a problem. It creates a rift. Um, so one of the reasons why I refuse to submit to these indoctrinations and I began to study for myself and to gear into a different direction is because many, of the of these people of these societies, they put on a front. Okay. And when it comes down to open doors, and in the public, it's one way. But when the door is closed, it's a completely different way of life. It's totally different. So, when you being hypocritical, it's not going to be attractive. Um, Also, and as I stated, when you trick somebody, if you give a person what it is when you are, when you first, communicate with each other and you kind of lay, your itinerary down, and you try to lay down, your list or whatever it is that you all discuss in that subject matter, when you outline it and you lay your pinpoints out, the person has they have the option of trying to be a part of that, or they can go on and refuse to be a part of it. So, as I stated, when you attempt to trick somebody in to your way of life, then I'm not going to submit. I won't ever submit. I would rather die than submit. Okay, because nobody wants to be it wants to embrace a society or an organization, and you know that the person that's bringing the message or the person that's carrying the message, they tricked you. So if that's the type of people that you are having within your society and in your organization, why would I want to be a part of a deceptive or organization that's going to deceive me and trick me? I don't want to be a part of that. I don't want to be a part of something that's untruthful. That's what you know, that's what I'm searching to do, is to find the truth. That's and if you are deceiving me, if you're being dishonest, if initially when I encountered, your organization or members from your organization and they were being dishonest and they're deceiving and tricking people, I'm not going to want to be a part of that. I'm sorry. But honesty is always the best policy. And that's going to be the learning lesson here. Honesty is the best policy. If you trying to trick me, then if I hit you with that mirror effect and trick you, how would you feel? You're not going to like that. You're going to be angry. You're going to be, you're going to have some sort of disgust and disdain towards it. So, you know, that's another reason um, that I wanted also to do this video as well. Um, as I stated, there are people who do not, like the fact that I talk about the Black woman being God. They hate the idea of the Black woman being God. Um, they want just to promote the Black man being God, and all the women in the world should get down and worship the Black man being God. Get sexual with him, do whatever it is that they want. People to do. And a lot of this is this occult sex. It's an occult. And no, I don't want to be a part of an occulted society. I don't want to be a part of people who are going around and deceiving people on a mass scale. You're not being honest. You're tricking a person for your own personal pleasure. You're tricking a person for your own financial gain. So this is the and it really doesn't have to be like this, because the same way I can respect a person having the idea that the Black man is God, this idea can be respected as well. And it's not just an idea. We are basing this off of ancient science and ancient technology. Okay, we are basing all of these things off of ancient science and ancient technology, ancient astrology, and ancient chemistry. Now, when it comes down to chemistry, I'm going to be honest with you. That's not stuff that I learned in school. That's not something that someone taught me. Though that is stuff that I learned on my own, all by myself. Nobody taught me. I am nobody's student. Okay? I didn't sit in anybody's class. I didn't pay anybody to teach me anything. I learned these things on my own, taking days out of my time reading, studying whatever books, whatever information that I could. So I'm not anybody's student. Okay? And see, when you perpetuate lies and you're dishonest, that's one of the things that is unattractive. So back to the crucifixion of the crucifixion of the Great Mother. These are things that have been going on. This type of behavior and friction and chaos. It didn't just start in our modern day times. These were things that were being talked about in ancient times as well. There were people who did not respect the female worship. There were people who did not respect the male worship. And as a result of that, there were wars that were fought. A lot of things came out and transpired as a result of this. But when we talk about the crucifixion of the great mother, one thing you have to understand is when we talk about the resurrection essence, and in the essence of resurrection existed before the essence of Jesus. So when we talk about the resurrection, we're talking about a female resurrecting a dead man, because Saul was said to have been dead. Okay, he was said to have been dead. So we're talking about a female, and let's talk about wars. When it comes down to wars, while these men are on the battlefield fighting these wars, and you can look throughout history, all of these people fighting on the battlefield about whatever issues that they're fighting about. When the wars are going on and when the war is over, the woman is the one who's left, because the men are dead on the battlefield. If their men are dead on the battlefield and their sons are dead, their fathers are dead, and their husbands are dead, fighting over for whatever reasons, then who's left to maintain and sustain that that group of people or that nation? It is left for the woman to maintain and sustain. So she had to, after he went out, or after he died, you know, um, and I'm pretty sure when we talk about the story of Osiris and Set, I'm pretty sure that Isis, the essence of Isis was, well, that he doesn't particularly, this is a fight between two brothers. One brother disliking another brother for whatever reasons. It's always some form of jealousy. And that is one of the one reasons for the crucifixion of the great mother. That's the number one reason for the crucifixion of the great mother. Okay. And that is one of the main contributing factors for the the war between two brothers and blood being shed. The first essence of blood being shed was between two warring brothers, two brothers that were fighting. So the contributing factors in the fall of civilizations, to many of the wars that were being fought, and also to the disintegration of the female worship, is as a result of what? Jealousy. Jealousy is very dangerous and it's deadly. A person that is jealous of you would just stop at absolutely nothing to attempt to destroy you. Okay? They'll go through a door. They'll walk through hell just to try to destroy you. So jealousy is a very powerful energy. And we have to begin to see how it is beginning to evolve in our modern day society. Um, a lot of that is going on. And that's one of the reasons why um, I am disliked for the pushing of the Black woman as God. It's pretty much jealousy. You got, various organizations and essences of spirituality who focus on the male worship. So, when we start talking about female worship, there are going to be people who disagree with the things that I have to say. There are also going to be people who are, jealous because maybe they didn't take the time and the opportunity to study this aspect for whatever reasons. Okay, that's why jealousy is an emotion of a weak person, a weak-minded person. That's one thing I have to agree with the Buddhists about, is jealousy is an emotion of a weak person, and it's a negative energy. Okay. And you don't want to engage in that. Learn not to be jealous of other people. Be happy with who you are and what you have. Um, so that is the number one reason for the crucifixion of the Great Mother, is the jealousy and the envy. And when we start talking about the evolution of homosexuality, um, that plays a part of the disintegration of the Great Mother as well, because you have men who are jealous of women They want to be a woman, but at the same token, they don't really respect the essence and the idea of a woman. They want to be a woman. They want to be a part of that female presence, but then they hate the female at the same token. And I've seen this in several situations with um, with the homosexual behavior. When it comes down to and another thing that um, is um, pivotal is the recent decision of the nominee for Judge Ketanji Brown. Now, you have them questioning her and asking her, what is her definition of a woman? And the reason why I think that they're questioning her and asking her about the definition of a woman is because they wanted to see her response. And she did make the right response, in my personal opinion, because had she made the response that I would have given, then she probably would definitely be frowned upon. But the fact that she did not make a statement was the most beneficial and most that was the best thing she could have done at that point in time, is to not give any comment, because we're dealing with a society that is evolving where a woman to be a female is going to be something that's going to be looked down upon, with Vice President Kamala Harris being the vice president. We got a female, Kataji Brown, being nominated for Supreme Court judge. With all of these things in position, it's creating a problem. It's creating a rift, because you got to remember there are places and countries where women are not even allowed to drive. So for them to see a woman with such political power, it's going to be very dangerous for women in a minute. That's basically what this video is about. The dangers for women and womanhood. Okay. It's going to be very dangerous for us in a minute, because we have women like Katanje and Kamala Harris who are in very powerful political positions. And as a result of them being in these political positions, it has created a rift um, in in various cultures. Um, when we talk about the presence of when we talk about the presence of excuse me, when we talk about the presence of female rulership, and you start talking about the presence of females in political power, it's going to create trouble for us as females. So just to put that out there, it's going to create a lot of jealousy. The fact that we have women like Kataje and Kamala Harris. And like I said, they're attempting to redefine what is considered as a woman. So it's going to create a problem for women in the future. There are going to be a lot of nations. There are going to be a lot of cultures who are disgusted by the idea of female worship, female rulership, and females in any positions of power. Because there are cultures out here who treat women like garbage, trash, and dogs. And one of the reasons why is because we have a culture that is about male worship, men worshiping men. Okay. And with this men worshiping men essence, they're gonna push the female presence out because they're worshiping each other. Sitting with, dicks tuck all day, um, and trying to tell women how to be a woman. A man sitting around with his dick tuck all day, excuse my French, because I usually don't use profanity, but a man sitting around with his penis tucked all day trying to tell a woman how she should be a woman. And he doesn't even know how to be a man. Because if he really did know how to be a man, then instead of being telling a woman how to be a woman, he would just be himself. Okay, and I don't know men who sit around, and I'm just being honest with you, from the essence in which I grew up, that sit around with their dick tucked all day, with their penis tucked all day, trying to perfect and trying to critique a woman. So this is going to be one, it's going to be a lot of jealousy with female rulership, females obtaining more political power, female worship. It's going to be a lot of jealousy. And it's not going to be just female jealousy, it's going to be a lot of men out here jealous of women. Some of them are homosexual, some of them are heterosexual. They're just not going to be embracing the idea of women being in control, especially if they have treated or mistreated women. If you have been negative towards women, you have been destructive and degrading, and a woman begins to move towards a powerful position, of course they're not going to embrace that because you've mistreated her, because you've been degrading to her. And these are some of the things that, we're some of the problems that we're going to begin to see in in the future. And when we talk about domestic violence, now domestic violence in America is illegal. Just pay attention. It's illegal for a man to hit on a woman. You will go to jail if a man hits on a woman, but it's okay for a transgender to crawl into the ring with a female and beat up and abuse a female. That's not even a fair fight. Okay? It's not even a fair fight. And why would you, if you know that you were born a man and all you did was really have an operation to change your physical features, why you didn't change your mind? You didn't Your brain wasn't removed, so why would you want to crawl into the ring with a female? And the reason why that is because of the entertainment of other men. They are men who enjoy watching a man beat and physically abuse a woman. So all I'm saying is, women, we are going to have to brace ourselves with what is coming. Trust and believe you me, the fact that Kamala Harris has made it to vice presidency, and the fact that Ketanji Brown has been nominated over black men. Okay, this is what is going to be said. She was nominated they overlooked black men to put a female in power. It's going to be a lot of disdain. It's going to be a lot of jealousy from men of all colors, men of all ethnic backgrounds. So, what I'm saying is, as women, we need to begin to brace ourselves for what is to come. Okay. There are women that, we are happy to see women finally becoming a part of political, of a higher essence, a hierarchy and political power, but that's going to be a problem for us because you got to you that many in the gay community, they really don't want to see, many of them don't really want to see. Now I'm not going to say all of them, many of them don't want to see a woman obtain as much power. And you have to remember that it was a man who gave the gay community as much power that it has right now. Okay, so we're going to have to brace ourselves for what is to come. And as I stated, there are going to be a lot of people who do not like the fact that I've made this video. Um, but the reason for the crucifixion and the crucifixion of the great mother, the number one reason was jealousy, jealousy and envy. Okay. And we're going to have to understand the same way it played a role previously, it will begin to play a role in our modern day society. It's beginning to evolve and manifest itself right now. So, as I stated before, you have to brace yourselves. And like I said, a lot of the jealousy isn't going to come from females, a lot of the jealousy towards women is going to come from males. So I know there are a lot of women. I know that you all are in relationships with, people, um, I myself had been in a relationship with a man that was jealous of me and jealous of the fact that I was a female. So I didn't even realize that I was in a relationship, and it was a hurtful thing. I'm going to be honest with you. It was hurtful to begin to realize that I had been in a relationship with a man that I have children with that was jealous of the female energy, jealous of and hate the idea of female rulership and leadership. And as I stated in previous videos, when it comes down to history and our world evolving into what it has evolved into, both males have ruled and both females have ruled. Leadership is not defined based upon color, or gender. Okay? It's not based upon that. It's not defined by that. So, as I say, it's going to be women. Just pay attention. He's in our modern day society than a man does, and that's not true. Men and women, especially men and women of color, black men and black women are treated equally on the same scale. That's just to make you feel guilty and to make you feel guilty, and to extract more male worship for them. Anything to make you feel guilty and anything to push towards worshiping them and their essences of self-pity. So, as I stated, a lot of the negative energy when it comes down to female leadership and rulership is going to be from men that look just like us. It's going to be from some of our own. It's going to be from other ethnic backgrounds. It's going to be from a diverse essence of cultures. But the bottom line is the number one key factor in this is jealousy. Learn not to be jealous of other people and be happy with who you are and what you are. Okay. And when you talk about some of the things that we're facing, another thing that's playing a role in not only the destruction of the female worship, but of our civilization, period, is self hatred. People who are so unhappy with themselves, they will do anything they can to try to make others just as unhappy as they are. That's the only thing that makes them happy. So you gotta understand and realize it's some people out there that hate who they are so much and so unhappy and lack peace within themselves that they will stop at nothing. Okay? They will stop at nothing to destroy the essence of your or attempt to destroy the essence of your happiness and peace. But you have to understand how these things are beginning to play out. Okay. So you got to understand it's going to be the weak versus the strong. And the weak are the ones that are jealous. The strong ones are the ones who are the ones that's being attacked and the ones that are going through all of these struggles. The weak ones are the ones that are making the strong ones go through the struggles. So, with that being said, be not jealous of others. Be happy with thine own self. Otep.